So you think your baby is ready to start real food, huh? Well, congrats! That is so exciting. And welcome to the club. So you got everything you need, right? You got the spoon, you got the... No, you don't. You don't know what you need? Oh. Well, you're in luck, because this video is a complete guide on how to prepare you to prepare them for eating real food. Starting with purees, of course. So the very first thing you need, and the most important thing you need, is a high chair. The baby has to sit in an upright position and they have to be strapped in for safety. You'll want that big, wide tray for them to have multiple food items for later, and a lot of space to explore if you want to put a little toy on there so they get distracted while you're preparing their food so they're not fussy. This is the one that I use. I personally love it. I think it's huge. My parents have another one. It's really small. I know a lot of people have it. I don't really like it as much, and it's super hard to put the little board back on. Mine is super easy to put back on. Mine is a 6-in-1 high chair. It has a very nice big tray that I talked about. It has a footrest. You have a full-size high chair setup, or you can add the booster seat to a regular dining chair when your child is ready. It is super easy to set up, and it's also very easy to wash. Everything comes apart, so it's really nice. So there are two ways to feed your baby. It's by you spoon feeding them, or it's baby leg weaning, so it's them just using the spoon or using their fingers to eat. So you will need some utensils. You want utensils for little hands. They want to be able to put their hand around it, get their small mouth on it. I use really small spoons. Callie can put her hands over it. She puts the entire thing in her mouth, and even putting all of the food on the spoon and putting it in her mouth, she still pushes the spoon because it's small. So I would recommend starting off with very tiny spoons. Then you can work your way up to other bigger spoons. I do like these ones because these are silicone. I think silicone is much better for your baby. So we will start to use these ones soon, but they're just a little bit big for her right now. These ones are really cool too because it's more like a bigger grip for her. She can really grab them easily rather than these ones she has to put in her hands, kind of slippery. So these are also good options if you want more of a grip, if your baby really likes to hold things. But if your baby is fine with just gripping this and wants a small spoon, these are good options as well. Your baby can start eating anywhere between 4 to 6 months to start. My doctor said 4 months was totally fine. We waited a little bit closer to 6 months to start the eating. But whatever your doctor says and whatever you feel comfortable with, the ways that you know that your baby is ready to start eating is that if she's trying to grab your food, she's really intently looking at you when you're eating, and you see that she's just really interested in her food more than the milk. She'll still drink a lot of milk, but she's now interested to start trying the foods, then you can start. Usually it's around 6 months, and at 6 months you can start trying the straw as well as an open cup. Now, the open cup and the straw are a little bit difficult to get used to because they're used to sucking on a nipple. The straw might be a little bit easier to get used to because it is that sucking motion, but they're used to just sucking and it's coming right away. Rather on a straw, they have to suck more and then it'll go back down, and they have to suck harder for it to go all the way up the straw. So what I suggest is to take the milk in the straw, put it on their mouth, wait till they suck, and then release, so they get used to that sucking feeling from a straw rather than a bottle. We started practicing with Callie with the straw. This one is Hola Baby, and she seems to like it. She's getting used to it still. It's very uncharted territories for her. So she knows how to suck, but she doesn't know how to suck a little bit at a time. So she'll suck a lot and then, it'll be too much for her. It gets everywhere, but she's learning. So this is a really good starter straw. It's silicone as well, very easy to wash. And this is her open cup. It is a tiny cup for her tiny hands. So I think it's perfect rather than trying on one of our bigger size cups that's meant for an adult, Babies love to use stuff that's made for them, like Montessori children. Everything that they use is small and perfect for them. So I love this cup. It's super cute. It is by Newbie, and she is still working on it. I have to hold it for her, which you should do too. The straw, they can get used to holding it themselves. Maybe you can hold the cup for them while they hold the straw, but the cup you definitely have to make sure they're not drinking too much because they'll want to spill it all over themselves. So start slowly and gradually, allow them to drink a little bit at a time. please note, your baby will get uncontrollably, crazily messy. So what you want to do is get the right type of bibs, and you can also get the bibs that turn into like a shirt. What I recommend is getting a shirt like this when you're starting purees. It wraps around them in ties, especially if they're wearing like long sleeve shirts or even just a longer shirt right here rather than like a spaghetti strap. It will get on them. I also put a bib underneath. I love bibs, they're amazing. So I put a bib underneath just in case so it doesn't ruin their clothes, but you just tie it behind, they put their sleeves in, and there's a lot of cute ones online. I also have this really cute dinosaur one, and it does have the little pocket at the bottom to catch the food as it goes. So this is really great for purees because it gets everywhere. It's not solid, that you can just pick it up easily and put it back in the mouth. Now you've probably seen these type of bibs, which are amazing. They will catch all of the food down here. So if you do want to use this for purees, the purees will just slide down here as well, but it's really great for bigger finger foods when you're ready for that, such as like tots and longer vegetables that they're trying, softened vegetables, you know, avocado, things like that. And it will catch the food when it comes down so that you can just scoop it right back and put it in their mouth. This fits easily around her neck. It's super adjustable. And so yes, I recommend this for more solid type foods and the other one for more purees, but they will easily work for both. It's just easier to clean up the mess with each one. Everything I talk about, I will put in the description below, as well as put on my Amazon storefront. So if you like anything, you can easily find the links to, so that you can prepare. Now, if you want to start feeding your baby with a spoon in your own separate little bowl away from the baby, that's totally fine. Or if you want to put the food right on the table on the high chair, that's totally fine as well. I really like to have my own spoon when I'm feeding her because I use a glass jar, which I'll talk about in a second. But I also love these silicone plates as well as a silicone bowl. That way I get her involved. I think it's much nicer to have your baby involved, feeling the texture, even if they're wasting a little bit of food. You know, they're feeling it in their hands, they're putting it in their mouth, they're very curious, and it allows them to explore a little bit more. So I really like this plate that has more solid foods. That way I can put everything that she's supposed to reach on the bottom one, and then I can put the stuff that I'm ready to give her when she's done on these ones, so I don't have to like go away from her while she's eating. I can just keep my eyes on her, and then all of the other stuff that she's ready to eat, I can just place back in her vicinity to reach for. Same thing with a silicone bowl, whatever your preference is. I like the plate a little bit more because she kind of tries to grab the bowl because she has to do a little bit more effort of seeing it, looking inside the bowl. The plate, she can easily see it and then grab since it's more shallow, but a bowl works just as well. So I got these little glass containers. Glass is so much better at storing food than plastic. You don't know if the plastic will heat up, if the bits of plastic will melt or do whatever inside the food. You want to avoid that at all costs. So I recommend small glass jars. I love these because it tells you the ounces. Each one is 2 ounces. I think they came in like an 8-pack. And it's pretty muted colors. So there's like a light blue, a beige. It came with a nice light like olive green and a pink as well. So those are really pretty. I can store them wherever I want. I also feed her out of these jars. I heat it up in the microwave. It basically does everything. So I love these. So when you are meal prepping for your baby, if you want to do a bunch one day and then store them in the freezer, I love this little silicone pad. It looks kind of gross because it has all her food that I've already taken stuff out of, but it's perfectly portioned for her. She eats about 2 to like 2.5 if she's really hungry. So I think it's like maybe 1 ounce each, but it's perfectly stored for me, and I just like pop them out so easily, put them in a microwave, heat them up on the stove, whatever you want to do. And it fits 2 in my glass. So once I put them in there, then I'll heat it up, or I'll put it on the stove like I just said. And then she's ready to go. So this is just easy to store my food in the freezer if you want to make a bunch of meal prep. Okay, so now what you need in order to create the food. Let me know if you'd like me to create a video on how to make the food. This is just what you need in order to prepare the food, but I'm totally fine making another video of how to make the purees, how to steam them, how to mash them, everything. That's so much fun to do for me, and I like to meal prep at once, so I can do a whole other video about that. This one is what you need in order to make the food. So I don't have a baby blender. I'm in the process of searching for one, seeing what's good. I use a NutriBullet sometimes, but my favorite is an immersion blender. This one is my favorite. I use it for like mashed potatoes or if you want to make smoothies. Basically anyone would be good. This one is from Chef Man and I love it. It's very powerful. So what I do is I steam her food and then I just put it in like a cup and I blend it. I mean, it's a lot of mess of using the cup and then blending and then back and forth. So that's why I'm looking for like a baby blender, but this works really well too. I also found that the NutriBullet doesn't make it as creamy as I want, especially for first time serving purees. So you might want to use the immersion blender for the first time when you're just doing purees and you're not moving on to super solid foods to start, or even like chunky. If you don't want any chunks, use the immersion blender. If you're fine with a little bit of chunks and your baby has a little bit of practice with purees already and then ready to move to the next step, that was a lot to say, then I think a NutriBullet would be okay, or some type of blender like that would be okay. This one is if you want it like super creamy, like you're making like a smoothie or mashed potatoes. It will make sure that there's no lumps, but always double check. I love this book. I think it is awesome. It's so cute. It has recipes for everything and it's all organic, which I love. So to start, it has Stage 1, single ingredient purees. It says 6 months. Then it has Stage 2, smooth combination purees. So if you want to do like avocado and mango instead of just avocado. It even tells you what month your baby is for each stage. So Stage 3 is 9 to 12 months. That's chunky combination purees. But if you feel your baby is ready at 6 months, like they've got it down, you can move on to the next step. You don't have to wait till they're 9 to 12 months. It's more beneficial to start your baby with chunkier stuff or like whole stuff, such as like a thin sliced avocado long piece for them to hold in their hand and put in their mouth. Because right now, between I think 6 months to 8 months, their gag reflex is more sensitive, so it will more prevent choking rather than later on it'll be less sensitive and they could put a lot more food in the back of their mouth and not have that gag reflex to come up. So it's more of a choking hazard to start later. And I know I was so afraid to start like chunkier stuff. Even if it was like a little lump of banana, I'm like, no, I gotta mash it, I gotta make it smooth. But don't be afraid, you're right there. Your baby will be unfazed by the gagging and unfazed like if they have a bigger piece in their mouth. They'll work through it, just stay calm and start them early. That way they'll be prepared later on. So back to the book. We have 10 months and up, we have smoothies and finger foods, and then it even has family dinners, 12 months and up, and toddler meals, 12 to 18 months. So you can make stuff for you too. But I love this book. There is so many things in here. So many things. Get yourself a book like this. So if you want your baby to sit at the table with you, then this little seat is perfect. It's also perfect to bring to restaurants. Hi, Bella. Because it can strap to the table and they can easily eat with you rather than bringing a super bulky high chair. You can also just use this if you don't want a high chair. How you screw it in is this turns and then it securely tightens on each side. You can also clip that in and it has little secure straps so the baby is, again, secure. Don't forget, with all of this baby stuff, you're gonna need somewhere to store it. So I just have this basic little shelf here. It has all the stuff inside, and then I can put stuff on that top, and it just fits perfectly on the side of my cabinets. And it was very affordable too. The last thing I wanted to share is a nice lunchbox. I have a mom cozy, which is smaller than this lunchbox. It's currently being used at grandma's house. The mom cozy is perfect because it's small. This one is really good if we're going on a trip like for a couple days, or if she's spending the night at grandma's house for a couple days, I'll have more milk and more food in there for her. So in the front, it has some nice little spaces for bottles. A huge thing right here, the mom cozy is great because it's small. So if I'm going for the day and I need to store food, but you definitely want to make sure that you still have an ice pack to put in here to make sure that everything does stay cool throughout the day, especially the milk because it's not supposed to stay out longer than a couple hours. I hope this video provided some insight on what you need to prepare your little one for starting foods, and they're going to have so much fun with it. Just be patient, try not to worry, they're gonna love it, and you're gonna do great.